Just come on up to your full power. Come on up to your full power. Come on up to your full power. Just come on up to your full power. Whoa.
All right. Hello. We are up to full power. So this is a podcast that we came up with that is going to be going through a little bit of the mindset that it takes to go from when you want to start something and you don't know how to do it to what it takes to overcome the fear of starting, getting ready to go, and then becoming a little bit more advanced in the skill and getting to learn a bit about it. So for this, we each picked a skill that we're a little bit scared to do but have always wanted to. And we're going to be working on that through the course of this little season. And each of the episodes is going to catch up with what we're experiencing, what some of the mindsets we've had to work through, like if there's any problems that come up or any bit of anticipation that we're anxious about, being able to talk about it and work on it, and then you get to all see that live as it happens, because it's not going to be a linear process. There's times where we're going to advance a little bit quicker than others and a little bit of setbacks, but I think it should be important for everybody to see what it takes to learn all that at once.
And no matter what that journey looks like, we always are going to come back to this room to debrief, support each other, give advice, laugh about our failures, and help each other get up to full power as a team, not just on our own. So, who are we? These perhaps disembodied voices you're hearing. My name is Tommy Ziegler. I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I'm 23 years old. Main thing about me, I love to sing. My friends call me Tune Tommy because there's always a tune going on. And yeah, I like to make people laugh and I like to sing. That's who I am.
And I'm Renee Machero. I'm from Ballston Spa, New York, so right outside Saratoga. I like to say I'm from Saratoga, though, because I spend more time there. I am here at Ithaca College. Forgot about that part, I guess. And yeah, so I've been running since I was a little kid. That's a big thing in my background. I like doing creative stuff, taking a bunch of photos, video, all that, which kind of works itself well into this project. And my nickname that everybody gives me is Runaway Renee, so I guess that also fits.
Because you're always running away.
I am, for various reasons. So that's a little bit about us.
So what I'm going to be doing this year is running a triathlon. It's going to happen. Growing up, I loved swimming. I was on a swim team, and I used to love going on bike rides with my mom. And recently, I've been running 5Ks for fun. And we're going to put all those things together, I hope.
Will.
I will. And you, new singer Renee?
So, I never sang before in public. I sing in my car. That's about it. Car is a safe, enclosed space for me, and I can blast at full volume so I don't even hear myself. But a little bit in high school, I'd want to perform or do any sort of musical, but I didn't want to go through the whole audition process of singing in front of people. Or I'll just generally kind of avoid it, singing in front of people. And I think it'd be useful for me to learn to get out a little bit more in public with it and have other people hear and me be comfortable being in a public space with that. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit.
And even hear yourself if the music is truly blasting so loud.
That's true. So we're also new to the podcasting space. So we're hearing ourselves record this.
For the first time right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary.
That's a little bit odd and unsettling, but it's kind of fun. I like wearing the headphones. I don't know if you do as much.
I don't like wearing the headphones.
So we'll either get used to the headphones or get rid of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But, like we said, we're not alone. So I want to be able to do a triathlon. Renee wants to be able to sing in front of people. And these are skills that we're going to be swapping on because I've been singing my whole life. I love ensemble singing with other people. I've done a lot of a cappella music and beatboxing, but I love a karaoke, and I just love music in all sorts. And so I'm going to be helping Renee to sing.
And then I'm going to be helping with a triathlon aspect of it. So with the triathlon, I have only done one before, but I think I get a little bit of leeway and credibility because the one time I did it was 2 years ago. I was training for what is called an Olympic distance, and I had to cut down to a sprint, so my training was overkill for what I ended up doing. But I ended up qualifying for nationals in Milwaukee for it, which is pretty nice, and also holding course record for my age group on the course, which is also kind of fun. And it was the worst conditions I could have ever possibly run it if we ever run through that story time of it. It was a nightmare getting there, and I didn't think I would end up doing it, but I did. And a lot of people got me there, so I think it's kind of fun when you get to see what it takes for other people to help you along in that journey. And I've also been running since I was like 2 feet tall, so that just kind of never stopped in my life. So I have a little bit of background in that.
I think what's really important here for both of us is that we're not experts in these things, but for the things that we want to be motivating each other about, it's in our blood. As long as we could talk and walk, you've been running and I've been singing.
That's true.
And it's going to help us help each other to take it on, even though we're in our 20s now.
Now we're just swapping passions,
We are.
and that's
While we also take on putting on a podcast together,
true.
which
No.
we have no one to help us with. That's a real just dive in.
We have our director, Lauren, who's off camera now. But
You
shout
can't
out
see
to
her.
Lauren, who is the expert, and this is her passion. So we're pulling in everybody onto this team that somehow
Creative
works
director
magically.
extraordinaire Lauren Lubinow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So with that, we're going to see how this goes with it and go from there.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Lauren is very happy to not be on camera because she is blushing.
And we're calling her out on it.
We are. Because she's the best.
That is true.
So yeah, that's who we are. We're hoping that you can all find something that you want to work on and join us in coming up to full power. And we're going to keep you up to date on everything that we're working on, improving hopefully every episode, and talking about obstacles every episode.
Mm-hmm. Obstacles that we face every day getting through it, and also that it takes a bit to get through obstacles. It's not overnight something switches, which is a big thing I've had to learn over the years. But it's good to say, like, the process of everybody faces a little bit of hardship when they're learning new things, and we all think we're in our own little worlds about it, and it's the biggest problem to us. But other people have also been through this, so we can hear from each other how we got through those old skills or old problems and then move on with it.
And then they're not problems anymore, and the discomfort zone becomes the new comfort zone.
Yeah.
Ever upward. Whenever you tell me about this story where you thought to yourself, well, if I have to audition in front of someone, then I don't want to do it. Did the mind ever go to the next logical step of, I get the part, and then I have to perform for an audience?
No.
Because an audience is audition times 100.
That's true. No, I didn't quite get to that part. Mostly, I think it's a one-on-one if I have to stare at somebody while doing it. It's a little too much. Audience, I had been on a stage once or twice enough where it becomes a void. And I'm okay with a void, because the lights are going to be blinding me before I make any eye contact with anybody.
Okay.
At least that's how my high school stage was built, where you really couldn't see the audience if you were on stage.
Yeah.
So.
Ideas are already flowing. We're going to get you in sunglasses. You're not going to be, it'll be a dark room, hundreds of people. You're not going to know they're there. And then we do another run, sunglasses come off. Hello, hundreds of people. I will now sing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be great.
Uh-huh.
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 My apprehensive uh-huh.
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 Yeah, is what we're trying to get to.
Okay.
We're going to do it.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
It takes a bit.
I say this before you send me on millions of miles of runs.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a little bit of retaliation in the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to sing in front of these people? You're not going to like next week's workout plan?
I mean, that's what it takes sometimes to get people to do things. It's a little bit convincing.
Yeah.
So, it's a bargaining power.
Mm-hmm.
So the name, we have Up to Full Power. It comes from my background. My dad used to say that a lot growing up. I don't really know where it came from in his brain, but he would say if one of us was sick or not feeling well, And he would just always say, oh, she's not up to full power right now. So she's not, like, if somebody wasn't in the room when they were mentioning them. So I kind of just threw it in here because the thought process was, oh, if you start a journey, you're not at your end result, but it takes a lot of confidence and eventually working on yourself to get to a full power state. So you have to charge yourself up and get used to being uncomfortable to get into a place where you feel comfortable doing what you're doing.
I think it's significant that your dad would say this when people got sick, because sickness is just immobility. Like, you're rotting in bed, waiting for the chance to feel better. And if you adopt the mindset of getting up to full power, then you're going to start doing the work where instead of just rotting and waiting for the feel better, you're going to create the conditions for being able to feel like you could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And half the battle is just starting. So it takes a bunch of, I don't remember where this, there was a quote once about, it's a bunch of little wins you have to do or little micro decisions you make every day that build to the big decision. So you have to wake up. If your alarm goes off at 6 o'clock, are you going to get out of bed or are you going to sit for another 5 minutes in bed? And that whole 5 minutes does shift the rest of your day, like mentally, if you accepted it and just got out of bed or eventually just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And maybe those increments build up enough if you don't take the opportunities that they shift your days later, and then the next day's affected.
Well, I'm guilty of that quite often, so I still need to work on that one again.
Because it's so easy to return to our comfort zones and do the same thing that we did yesterday or what felt comfortable yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the days where I make it to the pool and I get a swim in are really, really good days, but they feel very few and far between when I think about, oh, this hour I could make it over to the pool. And then 5 minutes build up, and now 40 minutes are gone, and I'm not going to make it to the pool in 20 minutes. Oh, I've missed it. I missed it in the first 5 minutes is when I missed it, and 5 became 40. Yeah.
Then how much do you like pattern for like building a schedule? If you don't hit that pattern of I need to go now, will you not do it?
I
Or
don't
is
think
that
I'll
hard?
go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I think to myself, I have this amount of time for it to be comfortable, right? I can get there and I don't have to like rush into the water, and I can, on my way there, think about what I want to be doing and getting place to place. I'm not thinking about being on time for the next thing. But if I have 10 fewer minutes, I can convince myself that I need to rush and that maybe it's not even worth doing the thing that I was going to do this hour. Yeah.
That's fair. I think I'm a little bit the same way. That's why it has to be planned out. Otherwise, it's so easy to say, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. And then you don't do it. But then the next day you want to do it again.
You always want to do it, but you never want to take the step that becomes the start. I mean, the moment I get to the pool, the chances that I'm going to be there tomorrow go way up because it feels great. The whole reason I am picking being more active as the thing that I want to accomplish this year is because I am a singer and I used to be in a lot of singing groups, and so I felt very much in my body all the time singing. And I don't feel as connected this year because I haven't been singing in as many groups. And so I want to get back to that. So the moment I'm in the pool, or I'm going for that run, or I hit that like great coast on the ride where you don't have to slam the pedals, I feel really connected to my body the way I used to when I sung, and I've sung my whole life. So it feels like I find that similar comfort in the discomfort. It takes something to get there. Yeah. And that's where my power comes from, feeling like I'm in my body again. Yeah.
That's an interesting take, because I think of it the opposite. Similar end result with singing, I'm getting away from working individually, because I love to run by myself, and I always struggle going in groups because I can't control the end result of it. But singing, I'm assuming it's individual practice, but also if you're working with other people, that's a different avenue that you have to go about with it.
I think a lot of people love music for that feeling of community. And so even if you're singing a song by yourself, you still are going to feel connected to the audience, and they're going to give you energy. So I would say it's not at all individual.
Okay, that'll be an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
How much I accept community.
Mm-hmm. I think you can do it. I know you can do it.
I'm gonna have to.
You have to.
That's okay.
They're not going to give us our master's degrees.
Unless we do this thing.
I mean, that's one tactic that we can take up, right? Setting some absurd, arbitrary consequence for not doing what we know we want to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're producing this podcast as a part of our MBA program in entertainment management, and it's fun and it's challenging, but if we don't give our audience this great story, if we don't do the things that we say we want to do, probably going to take our master degrees away.
No.
What a colossal waste of money that will be. I guess I have to go to the pool today.
I think you do now.
Right?
After this. But with that, what is your mindset on goal setting?
On goal setting,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about consistency
Mm-hmm.
more than like number tracking. I don't want to think all about like I ran this many miles, or I swam this many miles, or I did combinations of things. The more days in a row that I can keep something up, the better, because that builds that comfort. So what I've been doing early this year to start out 2025 is I've been doing, they call it a 75 hard. I would call it like a 75 hard-ish, because made a few changes, but for the most part, doing 2 45-minute workouts a day, and those workouts are going to be doing different areas, and sometimes it's a swim, and sometimes it's lifting weights, and sometimes it's yoga when you just can't like get out of the house, and sometimes yoga is the hardest when you're really, really tired, and you're like, I don't want to stretch out. I don't want to be almost static for 10 seconds. I don't want to do that at all. But I think there's a lot of good balance in switching between the different things that I'm doing. And doing a triathlon, it forces you to have that balance in 3 very different athletic areas.
Balance or lack thereof, because I bailed on the swim so much and I paid for it. So go for the balance.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the better way to do it.
Well, you bailed on the swimming
Uh-huh.
until it was triathlon time, and then the swimming was much harder?
Well, I was training for swimming, but when it came to the event, I never did the open water part before. So my swim was 850 meters, I think, if I remember right, which is a little bit longer than a traditional one. Normally it's 750. Shouldn't have been that big of a deal. But as soon as we got to a portion of water where I couldn't see the bottom, I did backstroke for half of the time in the water, which is not normal. It's so slow. And I remember my mom and my friends were on the beach, and they could see me because my stroke was different than everybody else who was doing freestyle. And also I had like a band on my arm with my suit that was a different color. And they're like, what is she doing? And she's also way behind everybody.
And she can't see where she's going.
Yeah, I was kind of zigzagging a lot
Nice.
and going all over the place.
Could have been a little more than 850 then if you were going.
Probably. So
Back
then
and
I
forth and
paid
back
for
and
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got on the bike, former bike repair specialist Renee Machero, and then it was fine.
Yeah,
Right?
then I had fun.
Yeah.
The swim, a little bit, was mentally fighting for my life. But that's just, I didn't realize, oh, I am afraid of open water, and I don't like deep, dark spaces that look like a black hole.
And you probably didn't even know that until you got out on the water.
I kind of did. And then I
Just
avoided.
compartmentalizing that until race day.
Yeah.
Because then the adrenaline gets you through.
That's what I was banking on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it'll be good.
Cool.
What do you think? Do you think you're afraid of open water, or are you fine with it?
I am not afraid of open water,
Well-
but thankfully we have designed our triathlon to be indoors, for we live in the tundra.
We do. Upstate New York.
Yeah.
That is true.
But thinking about balance for you,
Mm-hmm.
what does balance look like for you? My immediate thought is you must have music that you really like, and I'm sure it stays in a few lanes. And finding genres that are unfamiliar to you and trying to sing them anyway, or singing with different instruments that you may not have sung with before.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a broadening of your horizons. Yeah.
I come from a little bit of piano background, but I never fully learned it, so I'm excited to see what it sounds so simple, but matching my voice to a note, never had to actually do that before.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of that, of learning bare bones of it, is fun, and also seeing what fits better, like for my range or anything like that, along with the different styles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in that sense, when you find a song that you don't like how you sound on it, it's not really a defeat. It's just like discovering what works for you and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's balance too, realizing this thing that I want to do, my ideal version of it is probably not what it's going to be. It's figuring out what works within the desired goal. So every episode, we'd like to incorporate an obstacle that we're facing and talk about what we plan to do to fight that obstacle, to continue to become up to full power, as our name says. So my obstacle this week is that starting hurts a lot. It hurts my body. To run a very great distance hurts really bad. And it's a temporary pain. It's a discomfort like any other. But I don't like it very much. And to know that it comes back can, like, make a person freeze up a little bit. Like, the kind of training that I like the least is ab exercises.
Mm.
And I've gotten to a place where I couldn't be more excited to go for a 5K run or to lift some weights, but I get to ab day and I know it's going to hurt. Ew. But I know it's worth it after, and I feel great after, back in my body. But knowing that pain is coming, whew, what do you do?
About knowing pain's coming?
Yeah.
Well, I have two slightly different mindsets about it that I've had to train myself into. I had a good friend who was even more skilled at this than I was, so I took inspiration from them. Because first part was just learning the discipline of it in a way where you separate the emotional and the physical pain of it. So even if it's going to hurt, you know the results it's going to give you in the end is worth it. So you go off of, I'm going to do this again because it'll get me to my end goal. So kind of in that pattern and consistency, if you can keep it consistent and just grin and bear it and do it, then by the end you're going to be happy with it, and like the pain is temporary. Like a little bit of the hardball mindset of that.
Okay.
But I also enjoy doing hard things. So I see it like a little challenge. Like, I know this is going to hurt after, but then being in pain reminds me that I worked hard. So I try to spin it. I like spinning things into positives.
Making it a part of the celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this really hurts, which proves to myself that I've done a lot.
And if sometimes you didn't get sore enough, maybe next time you could do something different to make sure. Like, anatomy-wise, that means the muscle was worked.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I know every muscle I was supposed to have worked has been worked.
The pain and gain mindset.
A little bit of the
Okay.
gym rat mindset.
Yeah, just a little.
just a little.
Which we then fight by getting a call saying, I'm trying to sing this song. Let's talk about songs.
True.
Yeah.
I gotta pick a song. Well, I can't pick things. I have a hard time picking. So,
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Because you have to pick an absolute, and some things are easier to pick absolutes on. Because then if I don't know it's going to be perfect in that absolute, I'm like, what if I could have done this and it would have been different?
A what if thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Where do those stakes come from? Like, what if I had done this song? It might have been so much better. But you're just picking a song. If the song feels good, in the same way that if a workout feels bad, that's good. If it feels good, you stick with it. That's the mindset I come from.
Mm-hmm.
This is my world of singing. If it feels good, then you can keep using it. As soon as it starts feeling bad and tiresome on the voice, As soon as it starts to hurt, that's where you have to stop.
Okay. So don't be stubborn.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Renee has to not be stubborn.
That's good to know right now because I can be very stubborn, which gets me through the hard workouts, but not through singing. Okay.
When I feel some of the pain, my instinct is to stop. So we have to swap in these skills, as we'll do many times throughout this journey. We have to swap mindsets, but that's the one you have to take up. If it feels good, keep singing it. And then there's no what if of I could be doing something differently, because you're not injuring your voice. Your voice is an even more limited resource than energy that people have for workouts. As soon as your voice is tired, it's kind of knocked out for the day. There's no more practicing that you can do, and the singing just isn't going to not even improve in terms of sound quality. It's just not going to feel fun anymore after a little while. You're going to get like a little bit of, it's just going to grate, and it's not going to be fun.
See, with exercise, that's where my brain will go into. I know that there's 20% left in the tank. I know deep down that that's there, and I can pull from it if I need to. So I will try to pull, and that's where the what if I was able to pull that 20% out. What would happen from it? And in this case, it's a bad thing. So
The 20% is zero. It gets you nothing. It gets you the next day able to sing much less. Yeah.
that's weird.
Epiphany.
Whoa.
Epiphany on the pod. I'm really hoping that there are other runners on the podcast that want to do music and are like, I keep hitting this point of burnout and I'm trying to push through and you're making it worse. Stop it. Go listen to your favorite song. When you feel burnout, you listen to your favorite song and it reminds you why you like to perform. Or you go and you find your favorite person to sing or play with and it reminds you. I know a ton of people who have gone into solo music, and the thing that gives them their best ideas for their solo music is going back to a music-making community space where you're just jam banding and doing like 4-chord strumming, but because you're doing it with people and you're not grading through on your own like you might at the end of a run, that's where the best ideas come from.
So taking a step back and kind of reevaluating. Okay. Well, that works with exercise too. That's the rest period that should be incorporated. Sometimes I don't. So I very much need to be told to stop when to stop. So.
And I don't. I'll take a rest day, which is sensible, but when one rest day becomes 2, now rest day number 3 is even more likely, and that's not good. That's not good at all.
Something I would get worried with starting is perception of it all in the beginning. Of I'm coming in new to it and I have to be, once again, comfortable with being uncomfortable. And learning that, I'm not the expert here. Very much so not the expert. But everything I do is to work towards a larger goal and it doesn't come all of a sudden, which I haven't done that in a long time because I've practiced things that I've been good at for a little bit because it's so much easier once you have the confidence because you know, I can do this, this, and this, and it comes naturally. Like for me to wake up and run, it's like I have to, or I feel like I have to. I don't have to. It feels like an addiction, just because I'm used to it.
Maybe it's better to say it's like an instinct than an addiction.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
We can call things whatever we want. Yeah, when you start something, you kind of have to admit that you have no control over the output.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't like that one, did you?
No. No. And also just, it's easier to move around and do things for me instead of being the focal point of it. I don't like being the front and center of it. Even with like athletics, like I'm always in the background. I'll do my own thing and I'm okay with it. And I don't expect people to watch and follow it. But in performance stance, the whole point is to have people watch and follow you. So.
Not always.
Okay,
I'm going
I
to
don't
disagree
know.
with you there.
Go for it.
I come from singing in ensembles where you don't have to be the person that everyone is looking at. At times you're featured, at times you're soloing, and at that time, yeah, you've got eyes on you, and it can tighten up the chest real quick. But it sounds like an approach that we should take as we get you singing more is to be singing with some other people, where you get to experience some of the comfort that you've had in athletics where you're a part of a team and you're not at the forefront. And maybe that is one of our stepping stones to everybody's looking at me and I'm doing a killer job.
Okay.
That's the end goal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think there are going to be people who love hearing you sing the way most people, I think everybody can build to a voice where people love hearing them sing. The important thing is getting to a point where you know that you sound good or you like how you sound. Because I could probably get through the triathlon and at the end think, oh, but my time could have been better, or that didn't feel how I expected it to. We want to get to a point where we feel up to our full power. We don't just hit some arbitrary goal. Yeah.
Like with goal setting, that's why when I run, I don't set times as much. I'm not that type of person. A lot of people are. Times, distance. I found it's a lot more fulfilling in my head to just be like, I want to do this. Did I do it? Yes or no? Like a checkbox. So, because I definitely think you can muscle through it, no matter what. Like, you could probably go do it today.
Enough cups of coffee
Yeah.
with proper hydration alongside it.
Yes.
A few illegal EpiPen shots in the knee and then go, right? That's fine.
No.
You could do it. Yeah.
You don't need to have that much with it.
Anyone could muscle through it.
You have enough of like a background at this point in the 3 spots to be able to. Mine's bike. I haven't heard anything about the bike yet, but
Yeah. We should probably talk about the bike. It's a cold place that we live, and those cycling machines, they're not comfy. You want to talk about discomfort. Those bicycling machines.
I mean, coming from part of like my job at a bike shop is selling bikes and making sure they fit people. Those things are not designed to fit anything near what being on a real bike is like. So it comes with the pain because you're sitting in it like you're in a rocking chair. At least that's how I feel in a cycling bike. Versus if you're on a normal bike, you can optimize things so that you use different muscle groups. So all the muscles you use when you run are not going to be used the same when they're on the bike. So then it's less pain. We like less pain.
Less pain is good. Yeah. And when I'm running and when I'm swimming, I know that I'm moving a lot. And even on the bike, if I were riding around town, I wouldn't feel that my body is like stretching and moving the same way. Yeah. So you'll hear more about bicycling from me in future episodes. Everyone will, because you'll keep bringing it up, because I'll keep trying to avoid it.
I love it. I love it so much. I like to look at things while I bike, that's why. For me, it's the same as going for a drive.
It is the same.
Because you can get to look around. I get bribed with snacks pretty easily.
Okay.
So bike was what taught me to have nutrition while I run and exercise and all that. Because I just like snacks. So all the sugar on the bike that you want.
No EpiPens.
No EpiPens.
Okay.
So you can have gummy bears.
We can have gummy bears. Okay. This is a podcast about motivation, and we can save you all a lot of trouble by telling you that gummy bears are the way to go. We'll have a lot of advice, and we'll be able to recount what our stories are like, but really it sounds like gummy bears are the answer.
Well, I'm not saying scientifically. I don't have a full background in that.
Okay.
But personally, I like to use gummy bears or Pop-Tarts. Just from my personal experience, I've had a mix of random sugar. Because it works almost all the same. Sugar, carbs, electrolytes. You can find some balances between it to work.
Yeah, so I'm going to be getting an education not just in muscle groups and what the ideal workout looks like. You got to be able to have the energy to perform those,
That's the hidden secret nobody remembers until they're halfway through a race and they're like, why can't I not go anymore?
Mhm.
And that is a newfound term that we'll teach you right now called bonking.
Bonking.
Yes.
The definition, please.
So bonking is, don't quote me on all of this because I don't know scientifically.
You're being quoted.
Okay.
And this is going to be in the history books.
Okay, quote can stay in this realm
Because
now.
it's being recorded and people are going to hopefully listen to it.
Then my definition of bonking, we'll put it that way, is when you've used up all your energy. Typically, it's more carb-based, so you've burnt everything that you have in your body, and you physically feel like you can't go anymore. So that's beyond the I have 20% left to go. Your muscles have nothing left to feed off of. So usually for a workout like this, you can get by 60 minutes without doing anything. Once you go past the 60-minute mark, it becomes less helpful to your body because you're going to burn up fat and other proteins. It goes into the different food groups minus it wants to burn carbs at first. So if you keep feeding it carbs, it's going to have a faster fuel source to burn from. So that way you feel energized throughout the whole thing. And then the next day you won't feel exhausted. It is a very odd feeling when you've hit the wall.
Bonk is, of course, the sound that we make when we hit the wall. Is that where it comes from?
I guess so.
Okay.
I think so.
The more you know. What are the go-to snacks? Gels, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
For me, dried mango is so good.
Yes.
I can do a lot on just mango and water.
We can add a little bit more to
We
that.
should.
But that's
Oh,
okay.
we should. But so far.
I'll show you some science of it because I just find it fascinating. But it's fun. I think it's a good time. And
Cool.
snacks.
Snacks. Motivated by snacks.
Do you get to have snacks when you sing?
Yeah.
And water?
You get to have a lot of water.
Okay, I've been told I need to drink more water, so...
How much water do you drink?
It depends. I'm not as in training mode when I track it as much, but training mode I usually do 2 of my 32-ounce water bottles at least normally. But then I know how much I need for certain exercises. By like, this is my 24 water bottle with my 10 water bottle, but the 10 water bottle is the fuel, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I don't know that I go that deep. Do you know that thing that people say that if you take half your weight in ounces, you're good?
Yes.
Do we believe in this, or is it a myth?
I don't know enough.
Let's just believe it then.
Okay. For now.
If we don't know,
We'll go look it up.
Yeah,
We'll
we
come
won't,
back.
and
We'll come
just
back to
believe
it. Either way, we need to drink more water.
We're only a little bit science-based. We're mostly heart-based, I think. if
A
we
little
wanna
bit
do
science.
things. A little bit of science.
We need some science to stay alive, so.
I guess if we have to stay alive, we can do science.
I guess so. So with that, anything else? Worried, excited in this new journey?
I'm very excited. I had a huge accomplishment. If we're going to do obstacles, I guess we can do accomplishment.
Yeah.
I did an 850-meter swim the other day, no stops, and that felt great. And I was able to do it because I have this magic bone conduction. Guys, it's all about the gear sometimes. I've got this magic bone conduction headphone thing that allows me to listen to Stevie Wonder. And if I'm listening to Stevie Wonder, there is nothing I can't accomplish. And I had Inner Visions playing, great album. Have to bring my music into my new skills because there's my little bit of comfort. And I've got the songs that I've been loving since I was a kid keeping me going, and I swam an 850.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm in awe. 850 was pain for me, and you just knocked it out.
I swam when I was a kid. There's some sense memory there.
That's
And
great.
I've been trying to build up some muscles over the break to make it a little bit easier. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. What I do is every 100, so for the people that don't know swimming meter jargon, every pool length for the standard pool is about 25 meters. And so an 850 would be, if we're doing math, 34 pool lengths. And so it would be, I would do 3 freestyle, just basic freestyle stroke, and then I would do 1 pool length breaststroke, and I would just repeat that until I got to the last 50, and we did 2 more breaststroke lengths.
That's a good combo.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to a couple swim friends, and like for me, they were saying, oh, if you really just don't like freestyle your like face in the water, to just do breaststroke. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that
Mhm.
when I was there. That's a good alternative to get a little break in between and then go back into it.
Yep. Take plenty of breaths, and then I can be a little bit faster on the freestyle the more I breathe on the breaststroke. When I was a kid, I thought that breaststroke was breathstroke because I would be swimming on a swim team, and the coaches would say, it's time for breaststroke, and I would hear, yes, it's the one where we get to take breaths. I'm allowed to take breaths, so it must be breaststroke. Butterfly doesn't look like butterfly at all, but you know what? Breathstroke is where I get to breathe. The little asthmatic boy gets to take a few breaths in the breathstroke.
Well, that's good. See, the no dying. We're going to keep
No
that
dying,
going.
yeah.
No dying, and you get to breathe.
We get to breathe, we get to have water and fuel in our bodies, and we get to sing with a lot of joy.
Seems like it's a good time.
I think so. So stay tuned for more joy, is what we're saying.
Yeah. We got to plan out what's coming up soon. I have to see what I start out with for learning to sing. And you're back in the pool. Got to get you on a bike.
Yeah, we do.
You can see genuine joy in my face for the bike. Absolutely happy about the bike, but a little apprehension.
Yeah. It'll be good, though.
Yeah,
It's always good in the end.
that's true.
And we can do a 5K. We can do an 850 swim.
Mm-hmm.
And we know you can sing.
Supposedly.
Not supposedly, we know. In the same way that you know that I can get on the bike, I know that you can sing.
Okay.
Okay.
I see the logic you're putting back on me
Mhm,
here.
mhm.
Okay.
Moving away in between heart and science, we've got a little bit of logic that I will
Okay.
provide. Yeah.
So then we'll see where this takes us into next week. Or next 2 weeks.
When
don't know.
a little bit more, we'll be closer to up to full power.
We will. Just a
Woo!
little bit more.
Yeah.
Yay!
Woot, 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 woot.
Let's go.
Just come on up to your full power. Come on up to your full power. Come on up to your full power. Just come on up to your full